Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Street League Drone Racing. This is the state of the Spec. I am Sky, your host, and I'm here today with my co-host, Lead Fingers.
How's it going, Sky?
Welcome to State of the Spec. And we've got a really fun one today. I'm pretty stoked about this one, honestly. Let's see, so here's kind of like what we're going over in this live stream. So we're going to be going over some events that we got coming up. Oh, thank you, camera. Appreciate you trying to be smart, but I just need you to point right here. But yeah, so we're going to be going over some upcoming events and giving away some stuff. So if you like free things, stick around. And then we'll also be talking a little bit about our podium at the end, or the podium that we had in our last race, race number 2. And then at the end of the live stream, we've got a really special surprise that I'm absolutely stoked about.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And make sure you stick around the whole time, because as much as we got a bunch of great news to talk about, the biggest news is at the end. And
For sure.
Anyone who flies HD0 is going to be very happy about it.
Yeah.
It's a little hint.
Yeah. So let's talk about events. What events we got coming up, Led?
I mean, the very next one that's happened is the IO Velocidrone Spec track.
Mm-hmm.
Velocidrone wanted to do a track at IO. They're like, we want to do a track for all the specs. We just added Street League into the Velocidrone sim, and let's do a race. So we partnered up with them.
I'm
it's gonna be such a good race. So the main event is gonna be the VRL style team race on Thursday at IO. And if you ever seen a VRL event, it's going to be that style team race where you're on a team and you're racing people within your tier, but you don't need to do the team racing things with pit switches and multiple quads and all those kinds of things. It's going to be like an individual race, but you're going to have a team that you're rooting for and you're helping guys out on, and there's going to be captains and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it should be a really great time, and like I've really enjoyed grinding a lot of the Velocidrone tracks. Running all the Street League tracks people have been making has been super fun. And yeah, mostly I'm just looking forward to going and like seeing people IRL. But big shout out to Velocidrone for sponsoring that track and letting us do some spec racing on it. We love it.
Yeah, and then on Sunday there is going to be a Street League individual race. There's going to be some qualifying for it, so we're going to take as many people as we can into that race. The number hasn't been determined yet, but that's going to be a traditional Street League race with points rounds and all that kind of thing. And that's going to be Sunday. It's the last race of IO. Literally, they're going to be packing up all of the other tracks while we're racing, and then we finish, we pack up the track, and everyone goes home.
It's going to be awesome.
That's good. Yeah, that's going to be really cool, too. It'd be a really cool way to just cap off IO right at the end with a little bit of Street League racing.
Yeah, and I know you've been working on actually something. Don't consider this an official announcement. We're going to try to have daily leaderboards for that track to see who's actually like got those times, got the grind, and we should have a pretty cool way of like implementing it to be similar to the points format that we've been doing, but in a more qualifying style. So
yeah, it's definitely still in the works, but we're going to try to pull all of on Wednesday. We're going to be running the Velocidrone Spec track all of Wednesday. And that's going to be your chance to show up to the track and get all of your Street League drones checked in. We'll be sitting there spec checking people all day. Once you get checked in, spec checked by us, you'll be added to our leaderboards that we're basically going to be scraping all of the race data from that track every day and then comparing it to our list of people who have checked in and been spec checked. And then this is still in the works, so no guarantees that's going to happen. But we're going to be trying to do absentee Street League points rounds every day at that track is going to be the goal.
Yeah.
So every night while we're all hanging out the Tiny Whoop tent partying, you'll be able to pull up the leaderboard and then bench race with your friends who won that day at the Street League track.
I love that. That's I know nothing like a good leaderboard to get people racing and excited. Yeah, and then that should be a good time. But we've got some season races coming up as well. Yeah. We've also got the Colorado Throwdown coming up here pretty soon. That's going to be August 12th through 13th is when we're planning it right now. So plan accordingly, get ready, and this should be a pretty good one because we have home field advantage as far as a organization. So hopefully we should be able to do some really big stuff. At least that's the hope.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That's the goal. So yeah, this is going to be the third official Street League season race of the season. It's going to be Street League Colorado. Like Sky said, we have home field advantage. We don't have to travel to put on this event, so we're going to try to make it the biggest and best Street League race ever. Hopefully we're going to be able to race on that big, beautiful field that we get to race on every weekend, with the big hanging high gates. And if not, we have another place lined up that's a huge field, so we can do one of the biggest tracks we've ever done. So we're either going to have the most unique features or one of the biggest tracks ever, and it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, it should be pretty awesome. And not to spoil anything, because we can't say anything about it yet, but that race will also be special thanks to our partners as well. So keep an eye out for future State of the Specs when we get into more things. But yeah. So
and then we have a bunch of regional races, and the regional races are a new thing for Street League this season. Regional races are races put on by other groups and individuals that we've worked with before, and they are for Street League season points. That is the main thing. The Street League regionals are for Street League season points. And there's some small series, there's some big events. Sky, why don't you mention a couple of those for us?
Yeah, so right off the bat, we've got West Coast Throwdown coming up August 17th through 20th. That's a really big one. That's a pretty recent one. We kind of like got it all together right at the end. I think it's going to work out perfectly. The Arizona boys always put together a mean race. AK just always does an awesome job getting those events together. So definitely look forward to that. I'm sure they'll have plenty of LEDs on
West
that.
Coast Throwdown
is West Coast Throwdown is the other one.
Different. Yeah, that's I believe
Topia.
Derek is one of the organizers, and there's another one I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah, sorry about that. So West Coast Throwdown, that's an OG event, and that one's been around for a long time. If you've been in FPV, you've probably seen of or went to one of the West Coast Throwdowns. That's going to have, I believe, Open Class and Street League. I'm not sure if there's also Freedom Spec there, but like
so they're having
awesome
there's 3 flying fields, racing and freestyle. They're going to have racing championship, freestyle championship, and so I don't know exactly what racing is going on there, but it's a huge event, and they reached out to us like, hey, we want to have Street League racing, and we're like, well, let's make it one of the Street League regionals for the 2023 season. So there will be Street League season points on the table at the West Coast Throwdown.
Yep. And I guess now is a good time to talk a little bit about how the regionals work, just because they are for season points, but they're for slightly less season points than a main season race. And so still going to be able to get you to champs if you're able to like go to a bunch of regional races, but not the season races. That's fine too, so, either way.
Yeah, so the big individual events like the West Coast Throwdown, or the one it's the weekend after West Coast Throwdown, is the Woodstopia being put on by AK. He's organizing that right now. The one big time events are going to be worth 6 street cred per pilot competing, where a typical Street League race is 10.
Yeah, so
street cred per pilot competing.
It's like 60%. They're worth about 60% of the street cred, depending on. Although some of these races could end up being so big that if you score, in the top 10 in one race, but there's, I don't know, 40, 50 pilots, that may end up being just as many street cred as one of the season races that ends up being a little smaller. So really, the bigger the race, the more street cred there is. That's the main idea.
And then there's other multi-GP chapters who we've worked with in the past, like Foco FPV is our sister chapter up in Fort Collins, Colorado, or the Cleveland Quad Squad, or there's chapters in Florida and California who we've run races with, who we have went to them and said, hey, we want you to run a regional this year, and that regional can either be a single event or a series. So I'm pretty sure the Colorado regionals, they're doing a short series of 3 races, where the first race is worth 1 street cred per pilot, the second race is worth 1 street cred per pilot, and then they're going to have kind of a mini championship worth 4 street cred per pilot, and they're able to split those up however they want. And so hopefully we're going to have those in Colorado, Ohio, Florida and California this year as well.
Yeah, and if you happen to run a really large chapter that we feel comfortable with, then there's reach out to us. Let us know if you'd be interested in doing a regional, or if you'd be willing to help us do a season race, because we're always looking for cool new locations and new people to fly with. Let's see, what else have we got? We've got the Ohio regionals by the Cleveland Quad Squad. That's going to be coming down the pipe. We don't have a date yet, but it is coming.
I think I've been talking to King out there, and he has some really cool ideas where they do some special races every year, and they were thinking about turning some of those into the regionals. But yeah, those are all still to be determined, and we're gonna try to give all of those people all the tools they need to be able to put on awesome events. And just more Street League racing is always better.
Yeah,
right.
And I know they have a really awesome location that they did. They did a Tiny Trainer series in this epic warehouse, and I'm kind of hoping it'll be there. I might just show up just to go get some extra street cred. I got hooked already. I did one race, it was game over. And then
I got first taste of street cred.
I got my first taste. It was good. But yeah, Florida regionals. That's the next one. Again, to be determined, as well as California. So keep an eye out on the local chapters around there, because we'll be announcing some races from them, and we will definitely be putting those on the website too. So keep an eye out for that as well. What's next? So we've run two season races so far, and we got a bunch of regionals coming up, and they've gone really, really well. And I just want to take a second to say huge shout out and thank you to our sponsors. We've had Toker CNC, has been huge. He's been giving out frames and making sure pilots can get their new designs cut and all of that. He's just a really integral part of the spec racing scene.
Toker CNC has been cutting Street League frames before Street League was Street League. He cut all of the original prigs that we were all flying out here in Colorado. I know a lot of other people have been going to them for their Street League designs, because they know he always stocks the carbon that you need for Street League. He's got that American carbon, full twill carbon, that's my original prig was made out of that, and it's on its third owner. I flew it for a year, the Bits flew it for a year, and now Magnus is flying it. And the frame has been going the whole time with no issues. His American carbon frames are made of something else. And I think we gave the Toker CNC Frame and Prints prize out to the single pilot who broke an arm at Street League Flite Test. There's one pilot.
It was a pretty it was a pretty awesome event. I'm sure we'll get to talk more about it in a little bit. Also, huge shout out to Turtle Mode FPV. They've got the new heavy metal frame, and I managed to get my hands on one of those. Let's see if it wants to show it. But yeah, I got my own pod designed for it. I got that up on Thingiverse if anyone's interested. But yeah, this frame was absolutely incredible all event long. I was so stoked about it. I got it built right before the event. Wasn't quite sure how it would do, but gosh, it was so much fun to fly. It flew great. It was easy to get up to weight. That was really big. I didn't break a dang thing on it, even though I got tons of packs on it and wrecked a bunch. But honestly, I'm just super happy with it, and it was good enough to compete with the best of them for sure.
Oh yeah, I flew my Kari all last year with some modifications with the Froggy arms and hybrid and different motors and all the stuff, and we got those turtle mode frames in for prizes for the year. We have a turtle mode frame at each event for the rest of the year. We will have one turtle mode frame with prints, one heavy metal frame to give out, and I liked it so much that I had to build it. I built the thing. I had to buy another one just to replace our prizes, and I really liked it. I haven't had. It was super easy to get up the weight. I've never broken an arm. I did snap one of the bolts off the arm and then had to replace the bolt. And then Sky printed me a new pod for it. Yeah. So we're going rainbows for IO again.
Let's go. Yeah. And then we did have we ended up giving one of those away at this last race, and it was kind of funny because I think at the beginning of the event, King said something along the lines of, he said, "Oh, I almost hope I don't get on the podium so I get that frame," or something along those lines. And it ended up working out that way. So King ended up getting himself a heavy metal frame as well. And I also heard a lot of the Ohio boys are looking at him. I think they're out of stock right now, actually. I think they went out of stock immediately after the event.
Yeah, so we're super stoked to see those. It is a heavy metal frame is an open racer canopy with a metal mid and bottom plates, and then slightly modified Source 1 arms, but it's compatible with the Source 1 arm. And like I love the mashing together all of those different open source projects, adding the steel mid and bottom plate to help you get up the weight, but still have that super minimalist frame that at the most competitive levels in Street League everyone's flying. We all tend to go more minimalist at these events, so it was such a good idea, and we're so happy to have them on our partners for the rest of the year.
Yeah, also, as far as partners go, we had SpeedSource FPV, all the pilots of the event. They got, what is it we got here?
Dutch stick ends. So they were just, SpeedSource FPV just unveiled their new stick ends called Dutch stick end. And I think they have 4 different ones, really wild designs, not just like the same stuff that we've seen different flavors of. I know we all have our other their own favorites. I have my my Thumb Grippies Grandmaster V1s that are my preferred. I know there's Rip Sticks, there's the tiny Whoop ones. I forget what they're called, but everyone's got different one. But the Dutch stick end are really interesting designs. So if you're looking at the normal balls with spikes on them and you don't like it, go check those out. You might find something that you're really enjoying over there.
Yeah, definitely check them out. And Russell AR showed up with all of his frames, and he's flying them. I know Manny himself is flying them as well. I think potentially a couple other pilots. Russell did pretty good for himself. He made top 8, so that was pretty cool. And I definitely think that his frame was I think it was fast out of all the frames out there. I was a little surprised by that because it looks like a bigger frame when you look at it, but he's got this arrow that he's designed for it that I think is just working so well on that platform.
Yeah, and he's actually local out here now, so we've really gotten to see all of his designs and stuff. And just the more I put my hands on his frames and his open class frames as well, he's got his SLX series. He's coming out with his Super 50 series. Are just very, very, very well thought out and well put together frames, and I really recommend anyone go check those out. And he's also got the new he's got the CNHL 70C batteries back in stock, so that's the place to go get those. Go buy them out if you want those CNHL 70Cs. And I think he brought one for us to give away at the event, and we gave it out to the Daffer after he smoked a battery. So it's kind of turned it into whoever, if you break something at a Street League event, you might just get a prize for it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, we had a really great shot on the live stream. I remember I was kind of manning the live stream computer. I'm looking there, and then I just see the cameras pointed at a bunch of smoke on the line. Oh, somebody's quad's on fire. But we ended up getting them right as rain with the SpeedSource battery. So huge shout out to them.
So we got HQ Prop keeping all of our pilots in the air the whole time. Thank you so much, the Zong at HQ. I think we might even have some gates coming from him for the Street League Colorado race. So and we've been flying his props the whole time. And he always makes sure we have plenty available at our races. We've never run out of props. I think the first race last year we maybe had an issue, but since then Zong has hooked us up every time.
Yeah, we've been doing pretty good, both batteries and props. I think we're finally at a place where it's things are starting to settle down a little bit. People can get their hands on most of the products they need. That's been really nice.
There's one thing we forgot before we get off SpeedSource. SpeedSource is cooking up some motors over there, so everyone keep your eyes out for those SpeedSource motors coming, as I'm gonna be ordering a set for myself. They're very, very nice. This is gonna be the nicest motor in Street League.
I'm probably gonna end up running those. We're
gonna end up running them.
Pretty good.
They're so good.
They dropped a teaser on their Facebook. Go check out the teaser for them. It's pretty slick. It's one of the first proper, especially from a relatively smaller shop. They put some work into the advertising. That was kind of cool to see.
Yeah, and they're the Manny himself pro model.
Yeah.
How can you not fly the Manny
Pro
models?
Doesn't want to buy the Manny motors?
Yeah.
So also huge shout out to GemFan, because like, I don't know if you got to see the track. We'll get to see it here in a second when we talk about the featured heat of the night. But it's all gem fanned out. Gem fan everything. They did a great job making sure we had all the gate material we need, all the flags. They just
all champ size. I think Street League might be all champ size gates this year. I don't know if we're gonna end up running with 5-inch gates or 5x5s all year.
Yeah, so that's one of those
thanks
things.
to Gem Fan.
Yeah, that's one of those things.
Really?
You get to run 5x5 gates until people and companies help sponsor your stuff. So huge thank you to them.
Yeah. Thank you to Gem Fan. And Thumb Grippies are the original, the innovator, my personal favorites. Thumb Grippies. Thumb Grippies have been sponsoring us with sets of stick ends to give away at every race since I think the second Street League race ever.
Yeah.
And this season's no different. So we gave away 4 sets of Thumb Grippies to our favorite heat of the event. The heat was so good to watch that I'm like, all of these guys need a prize. And so they all got their own set of Thumb Grippies. And we have one more set to give away on this live stream. So comment in the chat, because we're going to be giving away a set of Thumb Grippies to a random person who has commented in our chat on this live stream.
Yeah.
So say, I love Thumb Grippies. What's your favorite Thumb Grippies thing? Just say hello to DeBits and Jay Rice. They're hanging out in the live stream chat. And we'll be giving away a free set of Thumb Grippies in this live stream.
If you want some Thumb Grippies, go drop the word Thumb Grippies somewhere in the chat, and we'll get to you. We'll do a raffle at the end. Also, want to give a huge thank you to Hobbywing. That was the only other set of flags out on the field other than Gem Fan, and the only real ESC that I would recommend for Street League, honestly. I mean, it's just
They just work.
They just work.
They just work. I had an ESC for a year, and then gave it to Amari at Street League Florida last year. And then he won champs on it, and then sold it, and it still works.
Yeah, it's like they turn into hand-me-downs. That's how good they are. So
they're so good. And thank you to Hobbywing and the Bits for always making sure that there are Hobbywing stacks available at all the Street League races. So there's never anyone, oh no, I don't have any more stacks, I can't race anymore. There's always Hobbywing stacks available at Street League races.
Yeah, and I'll let him make the decision, but I know Bits is in the chat if he wants to drop any promo codes or anything. Maybe keep an eye there.
And last but not least, we have FYS Crafts, who partnered with us to make the FYS X Street League battery. Thank you so much to FYS for making sure our pilots stay in the air with some of the highest quality cells. And we actually have a set of 4 Street League batteries to give away. These are going to be awards for the Ohio race. And check out FYS Crafts. They're always staying stocked up with all the latest and greatest in batteries. And Liz does such a good job of making sure that like the batteries that all the pilots are really hurting for are on her website. And she's a small site, and batteries are not an easy thing to stock. They are a very high value, low margin thing. So we just appreciate that she's out here making sure the pilots actually have the types of batteries they want.
Yeah, huge thank you to FYS Crafts. And let's also, before we jump away from our sponsors, let's go ahead and show our featured heat.
Yeah.
I think we got to call it the Thumb Grippies heat. The thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thumb Grippy heat of the race, man.
Yeah. Here we go. So we're gonna shut up and let you enjoy this one. This was just an absolute banger from the event.
After Gate Smasher and K-Mead. Out and around the Gem Fan hole shot flag. We got a battle right now. Looks like that's going to be the Dapper and Gate Smasher. K-Mead in that as well. He's trying to make a little pass on Gate Smasher. Ooh, it's tight through the ladder. We got a race going. Out through the sweeper. Gate Smasher got a little bit of straight line speed there on K-Mead, but K-Mead with a super tight Dunkaroo. They're side by side through the Hobbywing start finish gate. Out and around the bean, it looks like now Gate Smasher getting a little bit of a lead on K-Mead. K-Mead gonna try to stitch it up real tight in this section, though. That's where he can gain. And it looks like he does just a little bit. Gate Smasher gonna have a little bit of pressure still. Meanwhile, it's gonna be the Daffer out in the lead. Super solid racing from him. Really good pace, really good consistency. But a little bit of pressure now from Gate Smasher. All through the Dunkaroo clean, and oh my goodness, that Dunkaroo from K-Mead was incredible. You've got the blue of Daffer, you've got the red of Gate Smasher, you've got the green of K-Mead, and on the track right now, at least yellow from Cool Whip. Oh, they are all in it together. This is incredible racing. Gate Smasher, he's trying to make something happen on the Daffer. They're all coming through the ladder together. It's K-Mead, the Daffer, and Gate Smasher all in it. Gate Smasher gonna try to make the pass, but he hits the flag, goes down. He gave it everything. It's gonna be the Daffer hanging on by the skin of his teeth. And then it's going to be K-Mead sneaking in the second place. Incredible race there. That was so much fun to watch. These Ohio homies.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that.
He is so good.
Dude.
I love all 4 pilots. There were so many passes. They all kept it in the air. They all raced clean until the last turn when they all wanted it.
Yeah, that's when you have to throw it in. Like, you get in the heat of the moment. I mean, how often do you get to be in a 4-way battle like that? It's just, you love to see it. You love to see it.
Yeah, that was so cool. And it was so cool to see the Daffer is a Street League veteran. He's been to a lot of the Street League events. K-Mead raced in our Champs exhibition race last year, and actually it was him and Screecher for the head-to-head to get that last spot into the Champs race. So we know K-Mead has been flying Street League and has really been putting some work in. That was the first time I'd seen Cool Whip at a race, but he was doing really, really good all day.
Oh, yeah.
And who is the last pilot in that thing? I'm forgetting on the heat of the moment now.
Let's see, K-Mead, the Daffer, Cool Whip.
Gate Smasher. Gate Smasher as well was the
He
first
was
time I've seen him at a street league race, but I'm sure he's been flying it with the Cleveland Squad. Those guys fly a lot of street league out there.
Yeah,
They get a lot of practice.
Yeah. Speaking of the event, let's talk a little bit about that event. That was our second race of the season, and we've got a special guest we'd like to join us. So we're going to be pulling in Debicki to talk a little bit about his event. And
Here he is.
Well, we got him.
We got him. Let's see, Debicki, you there?
Boys? How's it going?
How's it
There
going,
he
man?
is.
So, talk to us a little bit about this event, because like you were pretty dominant for the better part of the event. I actually want to start a little bit at the beginning. Talk to me about how points rounds went. Like, how did that progression go, and how did you ultimately end up? I believe you were the points leader going into finals. How'd you pull that off?
Yeah, this was a really fun race. Points rounds were a bit of a struggle. I had a couple of mistakes, and I had actually dropped down into the third or fourth spot until I believe it was the second to last round. Led was holding on to it. I was able to take it back from him in that very last round, but no, they were some really tight points racing.
Yeah, I know you and Proximo were going at it. You guys touch at one point, and then you guys kind of figured it out after that, I think. And then it wasn't until like the last round, I think, that I ended up getting to race against you. And I was like, oh man, Debicki's got some pretty serious speed. It was
we had that A main paced out until you showed up and just started killing all of us. That was a fun one.
It was super fun.
We were 100% paced out at that point too. We were like, guys, we're cruising. We're all putting in good times. Like, this is gonna be a good race. And then Sky shows up and throws down the gauntlet. I was just watching you two take off. I'm like, you guys can go.
Yeah, I don't think I got into my stride right until the end. So like, it was pretty much you guys all up through that points rounds. It was kind of fun to watch, honestly. And then also, like, talk to me a little bit about the quad, because I know, like, this is always something that comes up with. I'll get a little philosophical here for a second, and then we'll bring it to what I want to ask you. But we always have people talking about the different types of racing, right? You have open class, which is like you build the fastest quad you can, you go as fast as you can. You could have like stock racing, like DRL, and then you could also have like spec racing, which is more what we do, where the quads are part of the game. And so you can do some things to the quads to try to make them a little better within the rules. So talk to me a little bit about the quad and what your entire like premise was as you designed it, because it's a very intentionally thought out frame.
Yeah, so I was just thinking about how last year we had, a new frame meta every race. We had things changing constantly. And then this year, we've had a bunch of great new frames, like the heavy metal and everything, but nothing like that's really trying to exploit the rules as much. So I wanted to really read over those and see what I could do to try and get my arrow down. And I came up with the 45-degree arms. That was ended up working out really well.
Yeah, and I actually want to see if I can pull this up here. This is what we're looking at for the frame. I got it on screen for our viewers here. And talk to me a little bit about the arms. Like, what's the idea with those?
Yeah, those were something. Obviously, with the arm rules, pretty much you got a 15x6 arm. That's the smallest you can go. And I'm just thinking to myself, how can I get that profile smaller? And a lot of people have tried before, putting the arm in the direction of the thrust column, but never really in the direction that the quad will be flying. So I wanted to give it a shot. Wasn't sure how it would turn out.
Well, it looks like it turned out pretty good for you. You did manage to get first place at the event. And speaking of which, let's. Actually, what do we got?
Well, so what? That's a wild frame. Like, what do you call the frame?
Frame's called the Big D.
The Big D. I love that. So, are you planning on continuing this? Like, you got second behind MCK at the first Street League race of the year. You won the second one with dominance. You were the guy to beat the whole weekend. That's a long weekend. I got over 100 packs in that weekend, so there's a long time to be the fastest guy in the track. Are you going to continue that streak at IO, you think?
I would love to. I'm hoping to keep this momentum going, try and stay good in my season standings, and just hope to finish out the season really well.
Nice. And so last year you did some Street League races, but you struggled a little bit more. What did you change coming into this season that it has made this huge change? Because you're a whole new pilot this year in Street League than you were last year. It's night and day.
Yeah, last year I struggled a lot with the format. I wasn't playing it right. I was struggling through points rounds, and that wasn't getting me where I needed to be going into finals. This year I've just been trying to play the format better, not always going for it every heat, just trying to fly consistent, keep my points up, and it's been working out.
Yeah, I think you definitely pulled it off this race. It was you were the guy to beat, I think, the entire time. You had the track lap times, you had the consistency. Like, I feel like you had it all. And like coming from race 1-2 is even more impressive, because it was interesting to see that you were kind of like, I don't know if people knew that you were the second place guy going into that final heat against MCK in race 1, but you definitely showed that you were supposed to be there, right? And it was interesting because it's MCK, right? He's a tough pilot to beat. But I think everyone was super surprised. They were like, oh, Dubicki's got this. Like, he can hang with MCK. And that was super cool to see. But at the same time, I know you wanted to win that heat. Like, you were going for the win.
I was trying. I did lay down a personal best that final heat against him. He's just too good up there.
Yeah. But, I mean, you finally got it now after race number 2. And we'll see how it goes for IO and the rest of the races.
So I got one more question for you, Dubicki. So, what do you think about when flying a Street League track that makes your line so good? Like, give like someone, like, I'm trying to hit that top spot of the podium this year. I'm really aiming for it. I've been working a long time. I just need that. Like, I was touching 33s in Ohio, but you were doing 333s. So how do I push myself that little bit extra? What are you doing?
Yeah, that's a fun one. It's a weird thing coming from open class too, where we're trying to be really close to every gate without being as considerate about the lines. I don't know, what helped me most was just trying to think about my momentum and the direction the quad was actually facing as it was doing things. So that was something that was a little bit weird to adjust my mind to, but
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
think it helps out.
I think you nailed it. I was
Awesome.
struggling to find anywhere on the track I could catch up, so I think you definitely got it.
So yeah, congratulations to Vicky for being the winner of the Street League 2023 season, race 2, and our top street cred earner for the year so far. And I don't know if you're gonna lose that spot, dude. You would have to, if you stopped racing right now, it would take a minute for someone to take that spot from you, I think.
I'm gonna try and hold it. I'm hoping I can make it out to the Colorado race, but if not, I'll have my fingers crossed that it holds.
You get some
Yeah.
regionals in. You're gonna have some regionals out there.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
And
yeah, sweet.
we actually have the whole podium in here because it was Sky's first time racing at Street League. So
Oh,
we
that's
got the
true.
rookie over here, and getting second spot, first Street League race Sky's ever competed in. And then I was fortunate enough to end up in third this time. Which I'm super stoked about. Those third places are hard fought.
Yeah, that was a super hard fought. Top 4, not even just top 8, actually, all the way from semis. Like everyone in that semifinals, like could have gotten to that top spot, and it was just so much fun racing them. I think I had a bit of a competitive advantage in that I really just I was just having fun out there. The racing was so good. You're with your buddies. It's a little bit easy to be relaxed when you know, you're having that much fun, honestly. It was such a great time.
Yeah, the Street League races this year have been bigger and bigger. I think both of our races so far this year have been 30 pilots, or maybe not quite 30, but very close to 30,
Yeah.
where last year was more like low to mid 20s. So we have an extra 5 to 10 pilots at these events right now, and the field's just getting deeper.
Yeah.
It's really I think probably through the top 12 or top 15, we had really competitive pilots here at this event.
Yeah, it was really cool to see that. I actually want to go ahead and pull up our final standings for the race. See if I can get that working for us. Here we go. And I've gone and pulled out some really interesting data from it. Something I thought might be interesting to keep track of, I guess, is the overall fastest lap that we saw from people during points rounds, and then their overall finishing position as far as street cred's concerned. And so it's really interesting because I think one of the things that our pilots talk a lot about is that strategy and how the consistency really comes into play and is key. But at the same time, it's really interesting because you're seeing that there is a definite trend here where the pilots who are setting the fastest laps are getting those top spots. And so that's been kind of cool to see. Like, I think it like kind of shows that it's working a little bit. But I love having the conversation about like, how do we make racing more exciting? How do we make it better? How do we make it closer? And I think we've got some stuff coming up that we'll be able to showcase exactly how we can bring a little more of that.
And yeah, just looking at this graph, you can see a lot of the guys where the overall trend is definitely like as you get faster and faster, it goes up. But if you look that's on the macro scale. If you look on the micro scale, individual things, you'll see little waves going up and down where like you see like me and King, who are Street League veterans. We've been to I think King's been to almost every race, if not every race, and I've been to every race where we're comfortable with the format and playing to that format where we can actually use that strategy to push ourselves a little bit farther into this list. And you see that wave, and then pilots with a little bit faster single lap times come after that, who struggled a little bit more with the format, but they're still some of the fastest guys. They still get pushed towards that higher top couple of spots on the list. It's this chart you made is so cool.
Yeah, it's been fun playing with the data, and maybe I'll go through and make like a season version and whatnot. But actually, we have a bit of a surprise giveaway that we wanted to do before we let you go, Debicki. You were kind enough to sponsor us. Why don't you tell us what you're going to be giving away here on the stream?
Yeah, so we actually just got these in today. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture or anything to show you, but we are going to give away a 2-inch gang shirt. We had them ordered for IO, but they came in early, so want to throw one up on here?
I love it.
Oh,
You've been absolutely plugging the meme train, so it's been fun watching you get some swag into people's hands.
yeah, Duvicky's got some of the best memes in FPV. Yeah, I can't wait to order a 2-inch gang shirt. I'm gonna be rocking that IO for sure. So I have this YouTube comment picker set up right now. We're gonna do this again for the thumb grippies in just a little bit. So but definitely make some comments in there, and we're gonna see if this works. I've never actually tried this before, so let's try this.
This will be a first for us, but yeah, definitely make sure you've commented on the stream. We're gonna try to get everybody on here, and we're gonna be giving away a T-shirt.
Hold on 1 second. Let's see if we can get this thing to work. Tell me it doesn't work on live streams.
And
no,
what's the website?
It doesn't work on live streams.
Oh, that defeats the whole point. Okay,
Oh,
well we can go ahead and just do a. We could do this. Why don't we do a random number? Have everybody pick a random number between 1 and 100, and we'll see who gets closest.
All right, everyone comment a random number between 1 and 100 right now, and we're gonna screenshot it. We'll pick the closest one.
And in the event of a tie, we'll do whoever put their number in first.
Yep, I just put the number into our little document here, and we're gonna give that just a few minutes.
And then while we do that, why don't we go ahead and do we want to go ahead and show what we got hidden up our sleeves, and then we'll come back and do the random number, give away the T-shirt and whatnot?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, give people some time. So go ahead and throw a number in the chat, anywhere between 1 and 100. Whoever gets it closest, you're going to be getting a 2-inch gang T-shirt. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us, Dubicki. Appreciate you jumping on and talking a little bit about your race and your quad. And I look forward to seeing you at I/O.
See you guys there.
Well, the one last thing before we move on to our big surprise is we have one more prize to give away for just race prizes for the Flite Test race. And it's become a little bit of a Street League tradition that whoever is on the bubble at Street League gets new batteries. So we're going to continue that tradition with our FYS Crafts batteries. And that is 9th place is Screecher FPV. Screecher, you're going to be getting a coupon code to FYS Crafts. That's good for 4 Street League batteries.
That's sick.
Make sure.
So congrats, Screecher. I don't think he's in the chat, but we'll hit him up on Facebook, and we'll be getting him those batteries. But
okay.
All right, let's
now
do it.
we have the big news.
I've been waiting all night for this.
Yes.
I think this is the future of drone racing, and I'm very excited to show it off. So, without further ado, here we go. If I can find it. It's here somewhere. Here we go.
For years, drone racers have been pushing the boundaries, splitting the horizon where the possible and the impossible collide. Every millisecond we shed culminates in the victories we've earned. We tune, we train, we expend every trick in the book to defeat the clock. But what if we had one last option? Introducing Boost Mode, drone racing's first new game mechanic since Crash Recovery. Starting today, you have a new strategic option at your disposal. Find the optimal spots on the track to deploy one of 3 momentary boosts. Get ready or get past as you boost your way to becoming the Street League Drone Racing Champion.
Alright, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be releasing Beta Flight 4.4 with the Street League customizations made to it. We've got that code public on GitHub if you want to check it out. but the big thing that we're adding is boost mode. And so, Led, you and I have gotten to test out the boost mode a little bit.
The boost mode is totally something else. It changes the racing in a way that I think everyone's gonna really enjoy. Just even beyond just the fact that like you have a button that makes your drone go slightly faster. It's like a Mario mushroom.
Yeah. God, it's so much fun. You and I had a couple battles in the parking lot when we were first testing it, and there was a lot of it added a lot of depth to the racing. I felt like it seemed like there were so many more strategies available to where, you know, we're trying to find the optimal spot to make passes, but we're also trying to find the optimal spot. It's a trade-off between that and the optimal spot to be getting around the course the fastest, because sometimes just getting in front of people is all it takes.
Yeah, so that's a big thing that I feel like it's doing to the racing, where a lot of times in Street League racing, it's all about momentum. It's all about perfection. You got to be perfect during a Street League race to get those times. There is no making a mistake and like that mistake, that turn is just over. It's not, you're not going to be able to recover from it. You're going to lose time. You're going to have to claw your way back. And when that happens, your competitor gets clean air. Now your competitor doesn't have to worry about you anymore. So they can go and put down their fastest lap times. So the boost mode makes it so if you make a mistake, you have a button you can use to instantly catch up. And now you're still at a disadvantage because you made that mistake, because your competitor now has one more boost than you, but they still have to deal with you.
Yep.
They can't get away.
I think that's something we've seen, is that some pilots do struggle also with finding like safe opportunities to pass, and so there's going to be a little bit of that. I think we're going to see people like, they're going to need to figure out a little bit more track etiquette than they've had in the past, because passing is going to be part of drone racing now. It's I think there are a lot of races when the racing's really close where you just kind of see the one person who's a little bit better, they start to just kind of pull away slowly over the course of the race. But now they're going to have to actually contend with other people making passes. You don't get to just be faster the entire time. You have to be faster and have a higher racing IQ and be able to contend with your opponents. So I think it's going to be really exciting. I am absolutely looking forward to it. We're going to be adding an update to the website tonight where you can jump into the beta of the boost mode, and it's also going to have beta Flite 4.4. So hopefully if you've got, you know, any of those new yeah, I almost had you. Yeah, check it out, our chat. There's good stuff. But yeah, we're gonna have that up on the website tonight, and you can check it out. It's got Beta Flight 4.4, so if you've got HD0, some of those features should work nicer as well.
So the new thing before, when you download the Street League hexes, there was like 5 hexes, and you had to use the one that was correct for your flight controller's processor. We are moving away from that because Betaflight 4.5 is no longer using that system with the custom defaults. They are moving to every single flight controller has its own hex, and we've decided just to start early. So there's going to be a long list, and you're going to have to select your specific flight controller, and then you will flash that, and everything's done for you. There's no custom defaults. Everything's baked in.
Yeah, so definitely looking forward to trying that out. We will have that live for I.O. That'll be the first test of it, and it's definitely an event worth being at anyway. So
yeah, and it's not going to go live yet. We're still working with Ashley, but this feature is going to be coming to Velocidrone, so that you can practice in the sim with your boost mode before you do it. So I would recommend, to get warmed up for it, what I did is I chose my switch. For me, on the Boxer, if you have a Boxer, you have the perfect switch. It's this momentary. I switched this switch to my race restart button so that I could get used to hitting it over and over and over. And that helped me get used to hitting this switch while I was flying. So I highly recommend that. And I see we got some questions in the YouTube chat, so we should answer some of these, because it's something totally new to drone racing.
Yeah. Let's see what we got. So Motto's asking how long the boost lasts. So you get 3 of them, and each of the boosts lasts for 5 seconds. So when you first flip the switch, it's going to jump your RPM limiter straight up. I believe we've got it set up 1,000 RPM Yeah, I believe it's 1,000 RPM higher than it normally is, and then it goes from that higher RPM and then slowly ramps down to the lower RPM. It goes from 16,000 to down to, or no, it goes from 15,000
13
down to
15.
Oh yeah, it goes 13 to 15 when you first flip it,
Yeah.
and then it slowly ramps back down from 15 back down to 13 over the course of those 5 seconds, and then you'll have
definitely
the opportunity
like
to use the next one.
learning how to compensate for that right when you hit it, because it's a kick in the pants when you hit it. You notice.
Yeah.
Is definitely a thing where, like, when we were messing with it, where I was trying to use it in some really technical sections, and it's difficult to. What I learned was use it going. I started using it going into the technical sections, so that I would have. I don't want to come into these technical sections going 10 miles an hour faster than normal, because it changes your whole line. But activating it just before them seemed to work really well for me, because I could, in the straightaway, get that little bobble where I hit the button out of the way, and now my quad's just a little bit faster for the next couple of turns is how I really enjoyed using it.
Yeah, it's there's so much to it. I can't wait to see what people do with it. I can't wait to see how people find out like what's faster and what's not. So.
And I see Waz is asking, do we have to configure a new aux switch? I believe it's set up on the beeper switch. Is that correct? Still?
Yes. So we have a README file that's going to be included in the folder with all the firmwares. So definitely check that out. I tried to clean it up based on some of the feedback I was seeing from people, just hopefully making things a little bit more clear how to do things and at what point your spec and all that stuff. But yeah, so essentially we just hijacked the beeper, and because we wanted it to be something that you could easily configure. At first we were thinking about doing pin IO and all this other stuff, and it was too annoying to set up. So we just hijacked the beeper mode. And so now if you're beeping, then you're boosting. And the cool thing about that is there's a scenario where you can actually hear people when people are boosting. But then I've got my quad set up. I actually have a Cobb LED on my beeper pad. And so my quad actually starts blinking when I'm boosting. So I'm hoping that people will get a little bit clever about, like, you know, you're boosting, but you can now make your quad kind of showcase that it's boosting. And so I think that
you could make the beeper go off and just have it yelling at people the whole time.
Or you could do both, probably.
Yeah, so that is 5-volt Cobbs, not the 12-volt Cobbs we sell in the Street League store. You got to get 5-volt Cobbs, which we will probably start stocking in the Street League store, along with buttons. I've been buying buttons off Amazon over and over, trying to find the perfect button to help you guys mod into like your TX16. I haven't found one that I'm happy enough with to stock it in the Street League store, but if anyone finds one, I'm really looking for like a small arcade button with a really nice feel to it. We're going to start stocking those in the store as well, and a little mod guide, because it's easy enough to mod one of your switches into a momentary button.
Yeah, maybe Mondo can go talk to Radio Master and be like, we need cool buttons. That'd be sick.
Radio Master just came out with the new AGO1 gimbals that are hollow, so you can feed wires through them, which is perfect. Like Radio Master, between the Boxer having this momentary, which is the perfect thing for the boost, and those new gimbals, they're perfectly situated for this. They don't even know it.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. But yeah, so that's the boost. If you have any questions, go ahead and jump in our Discord. We'll drop a link for that in the chat here in a second. And feel free to ask away in any of our voice channels or text channels. Just come hang out. Oh yeah, TX16 has a spot for the button on the back. Perfect. So I think we're going to see people get pretty rowdy with it. Potentially even before IO. That could be pretty cool.
Yeah. And so we have those giveaways. So I have my 2 random numbers.
Beautiful. And this is going to be for, what's our first one going to be? Is that going to be the 2-inch gang shirt?
The 2-inch gang shirt, yes.
All right.
All right, 2-inch gang.
Sound.
Hold on, and fortuitously, the 2-inch gang random number is 69. So, and the closest one to 69, let's see who we got here. I think we got Bike Guy on 59. He's 10 away.
Yep.
And we got Wozni at 79, and he's also 10 away. So you two have to fight.
Okay. We said in the case of a tie, it was going to be who commented first.
Who commented first?
Yeah.
That's Wozni, 79.
Yep, there we go. Congrats, Woz, man. You've got yourself a wonderful 2-inch gang shirt.
All right, and now for the last set of thumb grippies, another round of applause. We got 50. Number 50, we got Mondo with the 53, Magneto also with the 53, but second. That's kind of a wasted vote, my dude, my guy.
Oh, wait, we got Dubicki with 52.
We got Dubicki with the 52, and we got Magneto with the 33, which is not going to cut it, but all right. So I think Dubicki's actually getting the thumb grippies, which love that.
That's awesome. Congrats, Dubicki, and congrats, Wozman, as well. You guys are getting some swag.
Yeah.
Well, I think,
And
is there anything else we're missing? I think that's it.
I think that's the whole thing. I am restocking the Street League store with our new shirts in XL and double XL. Larges are in stock if you're interested, but we got
the hoodies.
We got the hoodies that Sky's been rocking. Those are all in stock. We got every size hoodie you want. If you want a hoodie, we got them. And we just look forward to seeing you guys at I.O. It's going to be a party.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us for the stream, though. We really appreciate you joining. We'll have some more information coming out about the boost mode and how you can get on it, as well as Beta Flight 4.4. And a huge shout out again to our sponsors. Thanks for helping us run the season. And, we look forward to the next State of the Spec. Keep your eye out because we're going to have some big announcements for the next one as well.
All right. See you guys at the next race.
Adios, guys.